Hi boys and girls, hi Varsha and Vidya. In the last few classes we discussed the direct sequence spread spectrum technique. But in your syllabus another method, a better method called frequency hopped spread spectrum is included. So let me start with that presentation. What you will learn in this session is that you will learn the frequency of the spread spectrum transmitter and receiver. Then you will compare slow and fast frequency hopping. When I look back at the direct sequence method, the figure of merit of that system is the processing gain that improves with the number of chips per bit duration. That is, how many chips are there in one bit duration. So if there is more, the figure of merit is more. But there are some practical limitations, practical difficulties to increase it beyond a certain value. So instead, there is a method called frequency hopping, or instead what we do is we change the carrier frequency in a random manner so that only the intended receiver can know the pattern. And when you look at the history, especially for ladies, this technology was developed by a lady. Her name was Hedy Lamer. She was an Austrian lady. Before she migrated to the US, she was married to a weapons dealer, and he was a contraband weapons dealer for Hitler. So after divorcing him, he migrated to the US, and although she didn't have any formal training, Hedy was a great inventor. So she found out that she used to tinker with a lot of systems, and she understood that the torpedoes couldn't be redirected, or couldn't be sent off their course if jamming signals were thrown at that. And she got a patent on this system, that is frequency hopping. And Hedy was a multifaceted genius. She was in the acting career, and she was an inventor, and she had an industrialist too. She was an industrialist too. So she was a stunningly beautiful lady who acted in a large number of films before, especially with the MGM studio and all that. Anyway, it's a brilliant discovery by Hedy Lamer. So what we do is this is basically a kind of an Emery FSK system. I told you about the FSK system, frequency shift keying. There we used one frequency for 0 and another frequency for 1. But if I use M frequencies, M such thing like a QPSK system uses 4 phases. If you have Emery FSK means there are M sets of frequencies for different bit patterns. So one such system is used for frequency hopping. So the frequency hopping falls into two categories. The one is a slow frequency hopping, that is one in which several symbols are transmitted during one frequency hop. It's like the technology is that suppose for some time it may be transmitting at F1, and for another time it may be happening at F2, F3, etc. This switching from F1 to F2, F3, etc. are done based on a PN sequence. So only the intended receiver can know which frequency is being transmitted. Only that intended receiver can keep its receiver in coherence with the transmitter. So others just see as noise signals. So this provides greater security than simple PN sequence. So these symbols are coming in. So frequency hopping means if during one hop interval, like the time it takes to switch from say F1 to F2, if there are several symbols are transmitted during that time, that means the hopping rate is lower than your transmission rate. So that means it is called a slow hopping. In fast hopping, a frequency will hop several times during the transmission of one symbol. During one bit pattern or one symbol duration, the frequency may hop several times. So that is called fast frequency hopping. Sometimes they ask for such comparisons. It is put in your syllabus. So if you, I'm talking about a slow frequency hopping transmitter. So this basically an Emery FSK modulator. The transmitter looks like this. There's an Emery FSK modulator. This Emery FSK means FSK, FSK different frequencies are transmitted for different bit patterns. Here, M such frequencies are allotted for M bit symbols like. So this binary data is coming here and a local carrier is there. This FSK modulator throws out many frequencies, so M sets of frequencies for this. And now this is modulated further by a multiplier and this kind of a mixer like a multiplier and followed by a bandpass filter. So this is driven by a frequency synthesizer. What the frequency synthesizer does is it provides or it generates many frequencies, and how it generates that frequency is modulated by the PN sequence code generator. So ultimately this frequency synthesizer produces a random array of frequencies, so that is randomized with the help of this PN code generator. So ultimately the output of the FSK modulator, that is further multiplied by this random frequencies, and it becomes a very wide band signal. So this bandpass filter ultimately selects the frequencies to be transmitted. So this is my MFSK signal going out. So this is passed to the channel with interference and all that. Now there is the FS receiver, a slow frequency hopped receiver looks like that. Is just the opposite case. The received signal comes here, it gets multiplied by a mixer, and the mixer is provided by mixer is driven by a frequency synthesizer, and that synthesizer generates random frequencies. How it is randomized, that is based on a PN code generator. Okay. So this PN code is known only to my friendly receiver or my intended receiver, so that provides me the security. So then this frequency is now down converted because this multiplication, this mixing removes a high frequency component. This bandpass filter removes the what you get here is frequency of my original FSK signal, and this goes into a non-coherent FSK detector, and my binary data is received here. This is how the slow frequency hopped receiver works. So what you learned in this short video is that you understood the FH split spectrum transmitter and receiver. Then you differentiated between the slow and fast frequency hopping, and that's the end of this.